Well, I'm Andrea Hunter, and I was born and brought up in Hull. After a couple of moves, I ended up in Hornsey and brought my two children up in Hornsey. After they left school, I had more time, of course, so I decided to trace my family history. Surprisingly, the first piece of information I found was that my great-great-grandfather had lived in Hornsey 150 years ago. So I started to look at the censuses, and the first census, the 1841, said that John Austin Trezise, as a clue in his name, had moved from Falmouth in Cornwall to Aldeburgh. He was a coastguard living in the coastguard cottage with his young family. But sadly in 1841 I discovered that 3 of his children had died all in the same week. And another child died in 1848.
And did you, I know we had this discussion, did you ever find out what they died of?
No, I haven't done yet. I suppose that's something I would like to do. So the next census, by 1851, the family had moved to Hornsey, and John Trezise was working as a boatman in the Coast Guard service. 1861, 10 years on, is still in Hornsey at a different address, but still in Hornsey. He's down Newbegin by then. But then sadly he loses 3 grown-up children in Hornsey and also his wife. And then the next census, 1871, he'd moved to Hull, which is where I came from in the first place, and he was remarried and now a grocer. And this is where I come in, because his first son of his second marriage is my great-great-granddad. And the only other thing I found out is that the coastguard cottage where we lived in Aldeburgh since fell into the sea. So that's where I'm up to. So I have a lot more research to do. But
so it's really interesting that you came here almost by chance, didn't you?
Yes,
and then found out.
We had lived for 3 years in Folkestone in Kent. Liked living at the seaside. So when we came back to Yorkshire, we decided on seaside again and chose Hornsey.
And thinking about the fact that the Coast Guard house has disappeared into the sea, what did you know about the sort of erosion side of this coast when you moved up here? Did you?
Well, I've been on holiday in Hornsey when I was a child and walked along the beach and seen all the falls. But I didn't know how far it had gone, how many miles from the farms and, the what I could see. I didn't know. I didn't realise since I found out that whole villages had fallen into the sea. So, and it's still going on now.
So obviously where you are now, it doesn't affect you. But are you aware of the effect it has upon towns at the villages now? Is it?
Yes, yeah.
Tell me how that sort of what you know or how it affects you.
It doesn't really affect me, hopefully yet, because I'm not far from the coast. But all the farms up near Aldeburgh and Skipsey the other way, northwards to Brid, they're often on the news, and good pictures, aerial photographs of the extent of the erosion.
And do you think, to me, who comes from the Midlands, it's quite a strange thing to think that, the coastline could go. Is there something particular about the people who live in this area that is just part of their life? How do you think how they cope with that? Do you think it's shaped their communities in any particular way?
I would think that people like you in the middle of the country are more worried about it than us. It affects us, but only like the farms and bungalows right on the edge of the coast, so you don't really think about it until it happens to you.
Right. And so in Hornsey, because obviously Hornsey's got the sort of sea defences,
Yeah.
so north and south of the town, there is still erosion. Are you aware of that at all? You know, is it something that you've noticed has changed? How long you've lived here? A long time, haven't you?
25
Have you noticed any change in the sort of north and the south of the town, because there's obviously cut back in the...
Yes, yeah, at Mappleton, between Hornsey and Aldeburgh, there's the lookout post, and yeah, you can see the changes at each time you go there.
So how has it changed?
Just reduced in the between where you can stand safely and where you could last time.
Now, you said you used to come on holiday to Hornsey when you were a kid. Obviously, it's changed a lot since then.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the seafront when you used to come along? Because I've seen a lot of postcards of it in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
What do you remember as being there when you were a kid?
Nothing that's gone really, just the same, but further back.
So tell me about it. You mean the wall has come further back, or
The
what?
cliff top has come further back.
So which part of Hornsey are you thinking about there?
North of Hornsey, just towards Skipsea.
Right, right. What about the attractions that there used to be in Hornsey? Thinking of from a holiday point of view.
Yeah.
Because there was things like the boating lake and
yeah.
stuff. Do you remember that?
And
Can you tell me what you remember about that?
And the paddling pool.
Tell me about those things.
Well, the area where the paddling pool was is still there. That's not gone into the sea. But yeah, lovely days, long days in there, picnicking by the side of it, playing all day long in there. Yeah, very enjoyable.